week. Thank you for having me. I'm great. How are you?
Thank you for joining us. All is good.
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us for Horology Forum 2019 Throwbacks.
Before quarantine.
We found it interesting, the predicament we're now in, based off of what you stated last year in your panel, Les Femmes Sauvages. You made certain statements that basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the screen. Now let me share the screen.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm gonna play you a statement you've made, and then I have a question for you relative to today. Let's begin.
What's bigger than this? And then I fell in love with technology.
So technology, you still think that that's where the power resides, and yet although it's the quintessence of the contemporary industry. I remember when we talked earlier, you were saying that it's still almost one of the most male-dominated that there is. Why would that be, do you think? And have you experienced negative or positive discrimination in that field?
I think it's really important for people to see people that look like me, or that look like the founder of Rent the Runway, or The Real or Spanx, and they show everything that they've had to go through. I think for me, I realized that people, or in my field, they see women as, you have to be a female expert on a topic that women are good at. So if you're selling beauty products, it's because you're a woman, so you know beauty. I am creating a company that has nothing to do with me being a woman. It's just, it's a photo company. So because of that, they say, you don't have a background in technology, you're not going to understand machine learning, you don't know how to build technology products. Even to the point where my business partner just got nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30 in media, which is really spectacular. So I was talking to this very powerful investor, and I said, my business partner just got nominated for Forbes 30 Under 30. And she goes, when you talk to investors, do they ever just say that you're too young? And I was like, and then I had sent you this article that basically the Harvard Business Review had done this study, and they said when VCs are asking questions to women versus men, the questions for women are always, how are you going to mitigate risk for us? So how are you going to let me know that you're not too young to have this company? And then on the other side, for men, they want to ask, what will it take for you to get to X? So if I give you money, what will it take for you to get to this position? Whereas for a woman, they're saying, what can I do to make sure that you're not going to lose my money?
So in light of what you've just said, in 2019, during, Les Femmes Sauvages, have you observed any changes in attitude regarding the constant gender issue, considering the fact that in crisis mode, all normative thinking patterns tend to go out the window, and expectations?
I think thank you for playing that. It was beautiful to watch everyone's interactions, but thank you for letting me complete that whole thought. So I thought I got a good picture out of one scenario planning. And if you notice, I actually picked a woman in that scenario that I was describing. It wasn't even a male investor. So it actually goes both ways, which is interesting in power structures and the way we're programmed to think. What I think is so amazing about what has been happening for me, my business has been booming because everybody's going online. The rate of new business growth has never been higher. My industry specifically has grown $2 billion since COVID started. So it's almost like with something like COVID, you have permission to hide behind your screen and just work. And nobody really knows, anyone that's using my website, I have like more than 15,500 customers on my site. They don't know what Christina is doing every day to give them that experience, but you end up having this platform and then this community and this growth, kind of being like keeping your head down and just working, and not having all these distractions of people like judging you or telling you certain things, or you having to actually go down the traditional venture path. You like there's so many expectations if you want to be like a big tech founder, and you need to go to events and you need to be meeting other founders, and it's a very networky kind of experience, especially in New York. But now I'm like, finally I have a moment to just sit down and create. And I literally we've created probably 4 different product lines now. We have an editorial section that's coming out. We've been able to improve on our AI. There's been so many new opportunities for us. And then on the other hand, with everything that's happening, it's nice because I'm kind of contradicting myself, but you get to have an opinion and a personality that is, again, online. So I feel like now my community is so excited that we've created this friendly kind of community that they're a part of, whether you're a buyer, whether you're a photographer. And I make sure that everyone on my team knows that when you're talking to people, you treat them like it's your family. Even if a customer's upset or whatever it may be, it's just always lead with love. So I like never lead an email with anything stern. You just want to make sure that people are having this fun experience. And then when you do that, all of the outside world like realizes what's going on, because you can start to see these effects across your channels about how excited people are. And the only opportunity that they're not what they're not seeing yet is that the reason why all of these different ways that the business is set up is because there are 2 female founders. So the whole way we communicate with customers, our AI, that we realize that there's certain issues. Like, for example, we found this image on Google, and it was a picture. We were trying to find images of Arab children, okay? So we searched Arab children. It was images of little boys with water guns in their mouth that was staged by people that wanted to make them look like they were like dangerous children. Oh and I call my business partner. I'm like, do this Google search for Arab boy. And she's like, oh my God. So then we go and we look at all of our tags, because we use like Google and Microsoft and Amazon for some of our tagging. And we're like, oh my God, they're classifying these images in the most absurd way. Same thing with Black people. They label Black men as women. They label Black children as Black adults. And there's just all of these things. So our lens is very important in this thing. And I'm like, people one day will realize that value. Maybe it's not now, maybe it's in a few years, but adding value to something and sticking with it for a long time is what makes that change. So I think it's the time frame. You're just talking about because you're going to keep finding things that you can work on. So the answer is you focus in on what you're actually doing and you keep your head down, and then all the noise around you kind of is going away. And I love that. And I hope more people get creative and build and keep trying things.
Yeah. No, that sounds like you're thriving there, touch wood. When you mentioned just now about how Black people are labeled, the wrong thing, and, the Arab children with water guns, you said they were labeled by they. It was labeled as such by they. Who's they?
The tech communities. So you're talking about Amazon, their image recognition systems, Microsoft's, Google's, the biggest companies in the world. And when you talk about diversity hiring, the reason why is because even in things like AI, because they didn't see these things as issues, these have been given to the rest of the world and companies like me to use. And this is how the internet is organized. So it's like everyone needs to, that's why when they showed why do you love technology, I'm like, you can participate to help change these things. And that's why it needs these multiple perspectives and people saying, no, that doesn't look right. How can we fix this? What is this bias? Maybe we didn't have that data before, now we have it. So how can we improve it? So there needs to be, like they say, seats at the table. You have to be there in the room talking to people. You need to be if you find a problem, you can't just like leave it alone. You need to go and figure out how to solve that and who's in charge of that issue. So
like woke people up.
Or just, but like in a real way, no, not just talking, like we are actually improving it to help. Like, so so actually instead of just talking, do something, like build something, create something, add something. And because there's so much noise right now, and that's what's like sad about this opportunity that's getting wasted. Instead of sitting there and creating something to help advance like society.
So you're seeing noise happen, but you're choosing to tune out the noise so that you can keep your head down and keep going. And you mentioned that you have created this friendly community, you know, a friendly Scopio community online. As a female, you know, in a male-dominated industry, if you were to take that friendly, fun community to the real world, real life, what would happen? What do you think would be the impact of that or the consequence?
In what sense?
In the sense of going to an event or holding an event, for example, that's hosted by you and your female partner, and the aim is to project how fun you guys are. You know, what a fun community you can make. Is there a difference between having that online during Corona and in real life? And would that impact your reputations as female entrepreneurs as compared to how it would impact male, you know, entrepreneurs in real life?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where that's where you can grow like exponentially. When you look at a community like Huda Beauty, who I love, people love her and they really feel like they're a part of her process, whether it is creating a product, whether it is about her opinions about certain topics. So actually it's like, that's where you see tremendous value, is in that public space where people can actually see you and hear you and get to understand what you're thinking and how you became who you are. So I do feel like that is an opportunity I'm very excited about. I mentioned that in the conversation, is that it's important to see people like that. So, you know, you did such a wonderful job presenting. You inspired so many people when they watched you live your full self doing that. So we need more of that public kind of display and less of shying it or giving credit to somebody else. And I'm lucky that I have an artist community. So I'm working with artists around the world. On the photographer side, we have more than 13,000 photographers. On the business side, we have more than 15,000 businesses. These people are all creating ideas. And so it's like, how can we push their ideas to the forefront? And it's mostly about integrating it into having it speak for yourself too. So for example, when people submit photos, we ask them, what is this photo about? What are these images about? Then they give us this like really honest answer. And so it's our duty to then use that to help show that kind of fun or interesting thing. So it's not even that it's through me, we're just displaying who everyone else is. And I think good leaders or people are able to bring out their customers or their users so that it's not about them anymore. And I think we've gotten to the point where now that we're growing and it's like really, I hear people talking about it and it's really amazing. And I feel like now that personality is not about Christina. That personality is about Scopio. And that's in the colors that we choose, the systems that we built that asks them more information about themselves, and our email communication, just like across the board. Answering people personally,
but behind a computer screen. So I guess I should
not at all. Like I will, like people ask us questions on Instagram, you get on a voice note with them. Like there's no separation really. So you have to give yourself to really, people like really value sincerity. So
I get that. I get the sincerity. What I meant was the risk of, and bringing up again how you said fun community, in real life, I guess I wondered if you were to do that in real life, as females, would that, or women, would that come off as in real life, if they were to see you, you know, having this fun time in your life, would they then take you less seriously as professionals, since you're women having fun in this serious field, you know, as opposed to online you having fun, you know, being friendly and so on. But I mean, online you're friendly and so on, and it allows for sincerity and connection. But in real life, and I'm saying this because of past conversations with you, how you have to be careful when you go to meetings, for example. You know, you can't really let loose. You have to maintain your professionalism and seriousness if they're going to listen to you. So what about that? Like,
I think the answer again is what stage you're in. So now that I'm established, I have enough proof. You can Google my name, you'll see a lot of things about what we've done, and how there's no doubt in my mind that anybody that meets me knows that I've seriously built this business. So I get the chance now to enjoy that, enjoy it more, and then have that be more proof. But it is so scary for early stage founders, and I really feel so bad for them, and I really hope it changes, that when you're first starting, it is the scariest thing in the world. Nobody you have no proof points unless your dad is someone big, or I don't even know what you need in order for somebody to believe in you. So I think that is it's just hold on and get to the point where you've done enough. For example, if you're an artist and you're like, I'm the best painter ever. And they're like, okay, show me your paintings. And you're like, I don't have any yet. Or I have one, or I have two, or I have three. Once they see 50 or 100, they're like, oh, she's a great painter. Yeah. You know, and then you're allowed to be like, yeah, it's really fun. I like it. But when you first start, you're like, I'm a serious painter. So it's about time. And it's weird, in today's fast world, people give up after 6 months, 1 year, a year and a half, 2 years. But that's why you need to just hold on and be able to. So I really am lucky for that. And now it's so gratitude. I have so much gratitude. And that's true. And also once you realize, for example, when you have investors, they're your partners for years. So they do need to know you too. You're going to be sitting at dinner tables with them. You're going to be doing updates. So we've integrated, because it's been so serious for us, that we've been able to integrate that fun relationships more into our actual core business than in our outside version of fun. So it's not the traditional way in which people interpret it. It's we're having fun creating something, and everybody that's in our journey, you know what I mean? It eases it up than having this is my serious world and this is my fun world. You have to integrate them, especially in tech.
And having Corona happen is what facilitated that, or helped that, or sped that up, because everything then went online.
Right. No, there was, the black and white nature of what has happened to my business since Corona is insane. We went from 1 million searches to 4 million searches during Corona. We had thousands of new businesses that are on. Photographers now, they can't go and do shoots. So they have sitting there with all their archives. We're get them and put them on the platform. I have hired 5 new people, and they all are so excited again because they can take a risk and do something that they really love. So the opportunities, but at the same time, again, the noise around you, it's so important to get rid of that noise, because you are creating something. You need time to do that. You need mental space. You need no noise. So that is your responsibility. That's my responsibility to cancel that out so that I can be there for my team, so I can be there for my company, so I can think of new ideas. So that I think, again, but that again is the validation that I was talking about. That is, so now I don't care. Like, you don't care at some point because you're like, I am doing this for this. I'm doing this for these photographers. I'm doing this for the businesses that love my platform and send me emails and are like, I use this every day. I love it. So then that becomes your world versus the outside world, and they'll catch up if they haven't already.
When the moderator asked you that, I guess now you can turn around and just show him your current state, and that'll answer his question. Okay.
Sure.
Well, thank you for giving us that insight, because so we have such little access to it, and it's very interesting to hear, down from the depths of tech, what's happening online in the world of tech. It's very juicy, because it's like the crux right now.
Yeah, and you know what's the juiciest is that if you see, all the tech leaders now are like the most socially active people on the planet. They have to make a stand.
They're now in their element, I guess now.
They have to. You as a tech leader are basically like, it's like a politician. You have to have an opinion, and you can't just be a business person. Look at Mark Zuckerberg and how much pressure is under him. Or any of the big, because you know why? Because they're controlling everything we're using. Like right now, on this Zoom call, it's so important that positioning that they have. So I think, again, but being at the table and having an opinion and being there, like, that's why I love people like Huda Beauty, because she offers an alternative voice in like tech and content. It's very interesting. So this will accelerate is the role that these leaders are playing in our personal lives and people around the world. So that's the most interesting part.
Yeah, we're lucky to have leaders like them and you, Christina Hawatmeh.
It's just starting. It's just starting. I hope in 5-10 years it will look completely different than the way it looks right now. Then we'll be in better shape in terms of diversity and women. And you should look at statistics of Black women raising venture capital. It's the saddest thing. I think there's less than 20 that have ever received venture capital funding. 20 people.
What about Arab women?
There's no statistic. You should definitely look into that and see. Yeah. I mean, you have Ayub, the founder of Little Bits. You have
like Huda Beauty, who make it a point to invest in Arab women. So I know that there are successful entrepreneurs who now are in the position to be angel investors. Am I using that term right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, she has a fund, but too. So she's an angel, but she also is a venture capitalist now. She has a fund.
Okay. So that's so inspiring, and that's very heartening to hear. So
that's what's important about community. It's important about community because if I become successful, I can go do that too. I can invest in other people. I can help them, support them.
Right? Like that's your motivation.
So it's definitely like I printed out we have these two beautiful images of these two Arab young boys. They're adorable on my website. And I was like, I'm going to put these on my wall so I remember every day why I'm doing this. Versus that shocker that I had. So it's really awesome. I mean, it's cool that we can in 100 years have all the images in 2020, 2019. We can go show people what's going on then. So that's great.
That's really beautiful. Well, thank you, Christina Hawatmeh, our speaker from Horology Forum 2019. Founder and CEO of Scopio.
The largest library of authentic photos.
Ding! Thank you so much, and I hope you and your family are safe and that all is well. And we look forward to seeing what else you come up with in the future.
Thank you so much.